Okay, so when I talk about the nation, I'm talking about 1,000 individuals that are committed to being the best version of themselves and creating their best life. So if that sounds like you, there's a link in the description for you to be a part of Genius Nation. So click that link right after you finish watching this video and join our private Facebook group where we want to provide you with tips, tools, and strategies to assist you in becoming the best version of yourself and creating the life that you want. All right, so if you've been following us any amount of time, you know what Saturday is, right? Saturday is review day. So what do we do on Saturday? We rewind, we review, and we repair. What do I mean? We want to go back and we want to go look at Monday through Friday. Did we do what we said we were going to do? Did we accomplish what we said we want to accomplish? Did we knock out the goals that we said we wanted to accomplish? So on Saturdays, we want to make sure we take out some time to rewind, go all the way back to Monday. And then I want you to review your week. I want you to review your week. Did you do what you said you was going to do? Did you crush it? Did you dominate? Did you get accomplished what you said you wanted to get accomplished? And if you didn't, then what do we need to repair so we can go into the new week with some good momentum, some good mojo, right? We don't want to carry that bad mojo into this new week, right? You're not probably going to hit it 100 times all the time, but what we do want to make sure is that we're not keeping up bad habits, right? We want to learn how to correct bad habits really fast. So we take Saturday for us to rewind, review, and repair. That's what we want to do. But I also want to talk to you and really ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. What are you creating? What are you creating? And what I mean by that is with your life. With your life, what are you creating with your life? And when we talk about life, all we're talking about is a span of time. All we're talking about is a span of time. And I think I shared earlier that over the last couple of weeks, I've had three of my buddies that have died. Three of my buddies that have died in the last 3 weeks, fairly young. And I was thinking about them, and I was thinking about my good buddy Robin and his wife. They had posted that in lieu of flowers and things like that, that you can donate to the Robin Reed Memorial Fund. And this is what they're going to do. They're going to take those funds and they're going to donate to things that was important to Robin, the work that he was already doing. They want to extend that work. And they're able to do that because Robin was creating. He was producing in life. And so even though he's not here, based upon what he was already doing and based upon the conversations that he had with his wife, based upon the conversations that he's had with me and so many others, we know what Robin wanted to create. We know what his mission was. We know what his passion and his desires were. And so those that loved him and those that supported him were able to continue that work. We're able to continue what he was creating. So that's what I'm asking for you. And I always like to look at everything with the lens of time, And so when I think about it, 5 hours. If you look at 5 hours and you look at 52 weeks, that's 260 hours. If you look at 5 hours over 52 weeks, that would come out to 260 hours. And I just want you to think about, what could you create? What could you do with 260 hours? Now, a lot of times when we want to do something, create something, accomplish something, we're looking for these big pockets of time. If I could just have a week to myself, if I could just have 2 weeks to myself, if I could just have 3 weeks to myself, I could do this, accomplish this. But that's usually not how life works. And many of us usually are not going to get those chunks of time. right? Like I have some friends who they write books as well, and they'll say, you know what, I'm going up to the cabin, I'm going to lock myself in a hotel room for 5 days, and I'm not coming out until I finish this book. Well, many of us are not going to have that opportunity to do that, right? We're not. And then sometimes I hear people say, well, you know what, when the kids grow up, when, I don't have that responsibility of being a parent day to day. But man, if your kids are 5 years old, are you saying right now you're going to put that off, writing that book, doing whatever you want to do for another 13 years, for another 15, 16 years? Hopefully not. Because why? What do we know about time? What we do know about time waits for no person, but we don't know how much time we have. We don't know how much time we have. And so definitely, for all three of my friends, I'm sure they thought that they had more time, but they didn't. And that's the conundrum all of us are in. We don't know how much time we have. But I want to challenge you just to take a chunk of time, 5 hours. Maybe that's an hour a day, Monday through Friday, that you're really working on something and focused on something. 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day. Maybe it's, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to take 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours on Saturday, 2.5 hours on Sunday. And I'm going to work on this. I'm going to go and organize the garage. I'm going to take that trip that I said that I wasn't going to take. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have one of the wonders of the world. We have the Grand Canyon. And I always am amazed that when I talk to people who live here and who've been here a certain amount of time, that they've never made the time, taken the time to go see one of the 10th wonders or 8th wonders of the world, right? I'm amazed at that because once again, it's time. It's all in time. And, whether it's a 2, 3, 5 hour trip, how many 5 hours over a 52 week period have you wasted doing nothing, right? How many of those 52 weekends that we get did you waste? How many of them did you waste just doing nothing? You could have said, you know what? I'm going to take 5 of these hours and go see one of the most magnificent things ever created by this universe, by God. And so that's my challenge for you. To answer that question, what are you creating? And then to go and take the time, make the time to go and do it. And so if you just said 5 hours over a 52-week period, 260 hours, do you think you could finish that book? Do you think you could build that garden? Do you think you could paint the garage? Do you think you could organize the garage? What could you do with 260 hours? And if you said, man, I'm going to split it up 5 hours a week, that's what I'm going to do. That's the investment I'm going to make. If you did that type of stuff, right? If you put your life in time and started chopping it up and saying, you know what? These 5 hours, 8,760 hours a year. If I take 500 of those hours, what could I create? Out of 8,760 hours, what could I create if I just carved out 300 hours, 500 hours, 200 hours? That's how I think about my projects. Man, if I just take 20 hours, right? What if I said I take 20 hours, 1 hour a day for 20 days? Could I finish that book? Could I become the author that I always said that I wanted to be? Maybe it may take you 40 hours, 2 hours a day for 20 days. And at the end of 20 days, my book is done. For the rest of my life, I'll be called an author. I will leave this planet with something I created. meaning there will be something that was created that will far outlive me. I want you to think about it. That's what a book allows you to do, right? Maybe it's saying, you know what? I'm going to take an hour and invest it with my kid or my children. An hour. Where do you think the relationship would be if you said, man, you know what? Every Saturday, every Sunday, or at least once a week, one focused hour with my children. That'd be 52 hours. Where do you think the relationship, what deposits do you think you'll be able to make? So what are you creating with this time that you have? I always tell people, you have enough time, you just don't have a time to play. You have enough time, you just don't have time to play. So what are you doing with your time? That's my challenge for you, nation. That's my challenge for you. What are you creating? What are you doing with your time? All right, go out there and be your brilliant, beautiful, genius selves. Whatever you're doing today, make it count. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow for our next episode of The Daily Genius. Have a good one, guys.